Hello, everybody. My name is Piotr Święcicki, and I'd like to thank you very much for joining this webinar, Complain and Apologize. I'd like to make sure that you can hear me, and this is why I want to ask you a little favor. Can you take a look at the bottom right part of your screen? There's a chat box there. Can you just type, hi Piotr, hello, we can hear you, or just whatever. I want to be sure that that you can hear it. Okay, thank you very much, Norbert and Gabriela. You've replied. This means that I'm audible, so we can start. This webinar, I prepared it with two groups of people in mind. The first being everybody, because I hope you agree with me that we have to complain from time to time, whoever we are, because all of us are clients, customers. So what you can expect here is some phrases which are useful in such situations. But the second group of people that I prepared this webinar for are those of you who maybe work for help desk departments or customer service departments, those of you who have to deal with complaints. So I hope you can learn or refresh some vocabulary, some phrases which are useful when handling complaints and apologizing. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, before we start, I just want to say that we'll first deal with complaining in communicative situations, mainly spoken. Then we'll move on to emails, and then we'll deal with apologizing in the same way. All right. So let's see what the next slide is. It says complain. Fine, okay, we'll complain a little, but before we do this, I have a little question. I'd like you to correct this sentence. So use the chat box again, and please give me the correct version of this sentence. There's a mistake here. Where is the mistake? Can anyone tell me? Okay, I can see that some of you are writing. Almost perfect. Almost perfect. You can say I have. You can also say make, but still there's something we need to correct. Okay, this is a very often mistake actually. This is why I've decided to start with it. Okay, Dorota, very good idea. Yes, this is, or this should be actually, I have a complaint, or I'd like to make a complaint. So what's the story here? Well, the story is that complain is a verb, to complain, while complaint is a noun. One of the potential sources of this error is probably the fact that the verb complain, to complain, its past form is complained, which sounds more or less the same like, or actually the same as complaint. So be careful about this, okay? I want to make a complaint, or I'd like to complain about something. Okay, we'll see these two words many times during the session, so I hope you will remember it, those of you who have seen this difference for the first time. Okay, so why do we complain in general? What is your answer to that question? Why do we complain? In what situations do we complain? Try to remember the last time you did that. What was it about? Well, there are many potential answers to that question. Think about it. The last time you complained, What was it about? Probably this happened in the shop, or maybe that happened at the restaurant, or maybe you bought something online and you were not happy. Or maybe that was about a service. So bad product. Thank you, Norbert. Yes, bad product. Bad product can mean actually many things. So let's see. You're on the right track, of course. Let's see what we can complain about. We can complain about quality. Yeah, bad product. Or standards. Low standards. We expected higher standards. We sometimes complain about time or timing and the attitude of people who service us. Right. So I hope you agree that we complain when something doesn't live up to our expectations. That's a nice phrase, isn't it? Live up to someone's expectations. Bad product. Or when something is faulty. Bad product, right? Faulty meaning you buy something and this device, for example, doesn't work or is broken or misses something. It's faulty. Right? Oh, sometimes it's damaged, was damaged in transport. Something may be incomplete. We also complain about misleading information, right? Someone called you, offered you some service, you bought it online, and then the invoice comes, and the amount is different than you expected. Misleading information. Missing deadlines. You order something and it was promised to arrive yesterday. Still, the courier hasn't showed up. Missing deadlines. Sometimes it's also shoddy work. For instance, you hire a team of people who were supposed to renovate your apartment, and they left some paint marks. They didn't clean up after themselves. It's shoddy work, right? So shoddy meaning unprofessional, inaccurate, not precise. Shoddy work. So finally, the rudeness of personnel that services us. This is when we complain. How to do this in English? Well, let's see. Okay, so this is what you can expect in this session. Lots of phrases, which I've categorized into some sections. That's the first one. So phrases with which we can complain, but in a even more than neutral way, in a polite way. So you complain, but you want to maintain good relationship. I don't know, because maybe you want to complain in the restaurant and you're not really sure what's going to happen to your next dish. Will it have some additional ingredient, for instance? So let's see what you can say. This is divided into 4 sections. I hope you can see what I mean here, because the first 3 start in the same way. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, or excuse me, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. So in other words, if you want to complain, but you want to maintain good relationship with the person you complain to, say something like, I'm sorry to say this, but, or I'm sorry, but I'd like to make a complaint about something. I'm sorry to say this, but I'm really quite upset about something. Or, excuse me, but there's a problem with, or I'm afraid I've got a complaint about, and here you give the main complaint, the reasons. I'm afraid there's a slight problem with, and similarly, this time you don't say I'm sorry or I'm afraid, but you can say I hate to tell you this, but, or sorry to bother you, but. There are a few things I want to draw your attention to here. The first being the word quite. Maybe you think that quite means just a little, but in this context, I'm really quite upset. What it means really is that you are really, really upset about something. So, but the word quite, in a way, takes the load off the word complain. So it sounds just nicer. And this is what you want to achieve if you want to maintain a good relationship with the person you complain to. The word slight. I'm afraid there's a slight problem with something. Okay, so by saying slight problem, you also somehow make the message a little bit more polite is not the right word here, but just nicer. Yeah, there's a slight problem. So in a way, you decrease the importance of it, but still, this is important for you. And finally, the word bother. Sorry to bother you. Imagine a situation at a hotel reception desk. You can see the receptionist, being busy with something, and you want to draw his attention. So you say, "Excuse me, can I bother you for a moment?" Right? So, can I interrupt you for a moment? Very useful. Okay, so let's move on to situations in which you want to be direct. Neutral complaints. So you don't say, "I'm sorry, I'm afraid," but you just give the complaint itself. So I have to make a complaint about, or there seems to be a problem about. There appears to be a problem, or there appears to be something wrong with my, etc. So which one should you use? Well, actually, it depends on the situation. I can also imagine a situation in which you are more than quite upset about something, and you don't want to be nice. You are mad, and you want to make a direct complaint. So you just say, "I want to complain about, I'm angry about, or I'm not satisfied about, I'm not really happy about, or there's a real problem for me." Oh, actually, these two last phrases, "this is a real problem for me," or "this is unacceptable." Here you describe the problem, you describe the complaint first. So you say something, "Well, I arrived yesterday. My hotel room is decent, but it's very noisy. And it was very noisy at night. So this is a real problem for me because I am, I don't know." You explain why this is a problem. So this is a real problem for me. This is unacceptable. Okay, now I mentioned restaurants and hotels. Let's take a look at these two specific situations. Restaurant complaints. "I'm sorry to bother you, but the food is cold." That happens quite often. "Sorry, but this isn't what I ordered." "Sorry, but I think I got the wrong order." Has it ever happened to you? It has happened to me many times, actually. "I'm sorry to have to say this, but the food is overcooked." Or, "I have a problem with my dish. The meat is raw." Raw meaning undercooked. Okay. "I would like to speak to the manager. I'm not happy with your service." Another feature of a good complaint is the focus on you, right? You say I. You don't say "you made this mistake," right? It's your fault. You did something wrong. Remember to communicate that this is about you and your feelings. But that's more psychological, less linguistic, and it's the language that I want to focus on. Hotel complaints. Think about your experience. Has any of these situations happened to you? "Excuse me, but there's a problem with the air conditioning in my room." Or, "Sorry to bother you. It's spoke about it. Sorry to bother you, but I think there's something wrong with the toilet in my room. I'm afraid I have to make a complaint. I can't find the jewelry I left in my room. Or, I'm sorry to bother you, but my room is a little cold. Is a little cold, right? Just like slight problem. My room is a little cold. Actually, it was very cold, but in English, or if actually in English, or if you are English, you have, or the English people have the tendency to use these words, slight, little, you know, in a way, you know, to, it's not that it's not important, but they want to sound it just a little bit nicer. That's why they do this. That's the convention. That's why you should do the same, I guess. There seems to be a mistake in my billing statement. Well, I must say many of these things, but for the jewelry case have happened to me. So very useful phrases, I hope. Anyway, let's move on to email complaints. This time the language will be a bit more formal, but I have good news for you. The phrases that we'll see in a moment are actually pretty universal. What I mean by that is that you can substitute what you will see in these examples with any other message. I mean, the complaint phrase will be the same. The rest of it, you can just change it with your situation. I hope you won't have to use them, but okay. So an email of complaint usually starts with one of these phrases. I am writing in connection with my order ABC 4321, which arrived this morning. And then you give the complaint. I'm writing to complain about the quality of a product I bought from your website. Bad product. I'm writing to complain about the poor service we received from your company, or I'm writing to draw your attention to the negative attitude of some members of your team. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to the complaint itself. Our order dated 16th May clearly stated that we wanted 600 items. However, you sent us 400. Situation number one. Situation number two. The goods were faulty, damaged, or in poor condition. There seems to be an error in the invoice. That's another sort of complaint. That's the financial complaint, right? Invoices. The equipment I ordered has still not been delivered, despite my phone call to you last week to say that it is needed urgently. Urgently. That's a difficult word to pronounce. So why don't you, if you can, of course, why don't you say it out loud? Urgently. I've noticed that some of my students have problems with that. Okay, so urgently. I can't hear you. Okay, very good. Urgently. Exactly. The product I received was well below the standard I expected. Well below. That's a nice phrase, isn't it? It somehow emphasizes the poor quality. Well below. It was well below. By saying well, you don't mean that everything was well. Quite the opposite. It was well below, so much below the standard I expected. And to make matters worse, when I called your company, the staff were rude and unhelpful. Oh dear. Okay, so now it's time for a request for action. Some suggestions. Please replace the faulty goods as soon as possible, or we must insist on an immediate replacement, or we must insist on a full refund. Unless we receive the goods by the end of this week, missing the deadline, we will have no choice but to cancel the order. And closing. I hope you will deal with the matter promptly, as it is causing considerable inconvenience. The word inconvenience is the key word in complaints and apologies. Inconvenience, What does that mean? It means that the situation in which the client, the customer, was exposed to some difficulty, to some problem. That's the inconvenience. You had to wait for something, or you had to send the product back because it was faulty, etc., etc. You may be wondering, so many phrases. Do I have to take notes? Do I have to take screenshots? You don't have to, because all these phrases, the ones you have seen and the next ones, you will get them in a nice PDF after the session. Maybe not this evening, maybe tomorrow, maybe on Monday. I have to talk to my colleague who deals with that, but you will surely get all the phrases in 3 or 5 pages long PDF. So you'll be able to revise them at your own leisure. Okay, so don't worry. We can move on, and it's time for a short exercise. Oh, not just now. 2 things I wanted to to remember about. 2 words, unless. Let's have a look at the sentence again. Unless we receive the goods by the end of the week, we will have no choice but to cancel the order. Unless. Unless means if not. It's a very useful phrase. Maybe you remember discussing conditionals with your teacher. He surely, or she surely have mentioned how to use the word unless. Okay. And promptly. Promptly meaning speedily, fast. So the word, you can use it also in emails in a slightly different context. For example, thank you very much for your prompt reply to my email. Okay. And now it's time for a little task for you. This is a short text about handling complaints. It gives you the stages that the person who handles complaints should take. Apologize, understanding, listening, solving the situation. The problem with this text is that it's not put in chronological order. This will be your job, to actually put these stages in the best chronological order. Let me read this to you, and while listening, please think about which situation, A, B, C, or D, comes first. Okay, let's hear it. When a customer complains, use the following process to guarantee satisfaction. Stage: apologize. Once you've listened to your customer and shown that you understand their point of view, they're finally ready to listen to you. First, apologize. A simple apology begins to repair the relationship, and then you can go on to the next stage. B. Empathize. Show you understand the customer's anger and validate how they're feeling. This shows that you're on their side and begins to regain trust. Stage C, listen. Don't immediately try to solve the problem. First, listen to the customer, give them time to express their frustration, and then work out exactly what the problem is. Finally, stage D, solve. Begin by asking the customer what they'd like to see happen. If they have no preference, suggest the best way forward. However, the problem solved, try to ensure it's done quickly if you want to retain the customer. Okay, now it's your turn. Please use the chat box and put the phrases in the right order. You can write DCBA, for example, or 1A, 2C, etc. Okay, I'll take a sip of water, and you do your thing. CBAD, CBAD. Okay, thank you, Dorota. Thank you, Norbert. CBAD. Okay, you agree here. CBAD. Let's see if this is this is how I solved it. I guess probably There are more answers possible, depending on the style. But let's see if we agree. CBAD. Yes. Okay. So in a way, we agree with how a customer should be treated. First listen, then show understanding, only then apologize, and then solve. Okay. I have a little suspicion. Maybe you've been to a workshop like this before, and this is how you know. If you have, well, you can share it with us, but you don't have to. Now, the first stage was listen. Let's imagine we've done that, and now it's time to show your understanding, to empathize. I can think of two very easy phrases with which you can do that. So you say, actually, you listen to the customer who goes, right? Complaint. And then you say, oh, I can imagine how difficult it was for you, sir. And then you apologize. Or complaint. And then you say, oh, I'm sure this must have been very problematic for you. We are very sorry that this happened. So I can imagine how you felt, or I'm sure this was very annoying for you. But I hope you agree that some complaints sometimes just simply don't make sense, because the customer, I don't know, didn't follow the instructions, or didn't read the contract carefully. So in such situations, when you want to show understanding, but in the same time show that the customer is not always right, you can say something like this. I know what you mean. But if you looked at the contract, you would see that, and then you lead the customer onto the right path. Or you could say, yeah, I guess. Mind you, one of the articles in the contract states that, and this is where I'd like to stop for a moment to ask you about the word, or the phrase actually, mind you. What does that really mean? Yes, I can see your problem, sir. I can see that was very very difficult for you, and I can hear that you're annoyed. But mind you, you've called the wrong company. We don't deal with that. So what's mind you? What do you think? How to translate this into Polish? Mind you, this is very important. Okay, so what's mind you? Any ideas? Okay, someone's writing something. Very good. Yeah, I guess. Mind you. Similar to would you. Actually, yes and no. Mind you, or mind, could be used in some other context. In this one, what it means is proszę jednak pamiętać. Or something like this. Proszę zauważyć, że... Okay, does it make sense to you? Mind you. I guess. Yes, it sounds like a problem. But mind you, we have 20 days to answer your email, for example, or 2 days to answer your email. Anyway, let's move on. There is some connection problem, maybe. I can't see the next slide. Let's wait a moment until it appears. Okay, now I can see it. I hope you can see it too. It says apologize. What's the meaning of the slide? Actually, it's because I hear this mistake very often. No, before I tell you about the mistake, I just want to say that this is not a mistake, actually, to spell apologize with an S. You might have seen even in this presentation that sometimes the spelling of apologize is different. You can spell it with an S or a Z or a Z. American versus British English, right? This spelling is American, and actually it's becoming, or it has become, very popular. So in 80% of texts you read, even those written in Great Britain, but I'm not so sure about this, but this is becoming a very popular way of spelling words with this ending, I-S-E or I-Z-E. Just, it's a variant. You can spell apologize with an S or apologize with a Z. But there's another issue here. It's about pronunciation. It's a very often mistake. I'm not saying that this word is mispronounced very often, but let's have a look at the phonetic transcription of it. It's apologize, right? Apologize, apologize. The ending is jize, jize. That's the verb. The noun is apology, apology. And here comes this very often mistake. I won't say it out loud, but it's quite problematic for some students. The next word, which is the plural form of the noun. Please accept my apologies. Because the word apologies looks very similar to apologize. Some people pronounce apologies the way they would pronounce apologize. Do you know what I mean? So be careful about this. Please accept my apologies. Noun. I'd like to apologize. So here it's not a variant. It's a pronunciation mistake. So be careful about it. Okay? Why don't you say, please accept my apologies right now? Can't hear you. Don't be afraid. There's no one listening to you. Or if there is someone listening to you, just never mind. Just say, apologize, apologies. Please accept my apologies. Very good. Okay. We're ready to move on. So let's take a look at some standard apologies. Apologies, exactly. Right. I've prepared this especially for you. I'm very proud of this particular slide because there's this very nice list of phrases on the left and on the right. You've got this pattern: plus noun phrase, plus verb plus ing, plus not plus verb plus ing. What's the meaning of that? Well, what I want to show you here is that whichever phrase you use, I'm thinking about the phrases on the left, you can add the main thing and choose one of those options. So you can say something like this: I apologize for this situation. Or you could say, I apologize for verb plus ing making you wait. Or I'd like to apologize for not getting back to you earlier. Can you see this? It works like magic here. It's very simple. Let's see those phrases, by the way. So, I do apologize for making you wait. I must apologize for this situation. I sincerely apologize for not getting back to you earlier. Please accept my apologies for any trouble we have caused. We owe you an apology for making you wait. I am sorry about this situation. I am so sorry about making you wait. I am terribly sorry for not getting back to you earlier. Please forgive me for any trouble we have caused. It works very nice. Is there anything else I should tell you? Well, yes and no. I'd like to move forward, but I'll tell you one more thing. Maybe you've noticed that each of these phrases ends with a preposition. For, about, for. It's not a coincidence that then you have plus noun phrase, plus anything, plus verb plus ing, plus not, plus verb plus ing. This is a universal pattern. In other words, if you start a sentence and then you have a verb like apologize for, or I'm so sorry for, and then you want to add something, you want to add some meaning after a preposition like for, in this case, but it could be with, it could be on, it could be any preposition, or about, then you just use a noun, and that will be correct, or you can use a verb plus ing. It will always work like this, or almost always, in 99% of cases. So if you thought that English is full of irregularities, exceptions, etc., that's not the case. This is when it should work almost all the time. Hope that's good news to you. Okay, time for a little task. Correct this sentence, please. I'm sorry for late. Oh my God, sounds terrible. Actually, there are two ways to correct this sentence. I just looked at the chat box. Norbert, you typed realize. Yes, realize with a Z or realize with an S. Exactly, both possible. Norbert, Tomasz, yes, you've given the two correct variations. I'm sorry for being late, or I'm sorry I'm late. Yes, please remember about this. Don't say I'm sorry for late. But why? What is the mistake? How to explain it? Late is an adjective, right? Late, late show. I'm late, right? Or it happened late at night, etc., etc., etc. This is an adjective, and we want an adverb or actually no, it's not. No, my explanation doesn't work. It was a shitty explanation. I take it back. Late is an adjective or an adverb in all these cases. It's about this pattern. I'm sorry I'm late. Not for late. Yeah. Can you see that? Or I'm sorry for being late, which takes us back to this slide. Sorry, it's late. It's hot. 30 degrees centigrade in the bedroom I'm sitting in. No air conditioning. I'd like to complain to someone about it, but, well, there's no one to complain to but me. So, sorry for misleading you, but I hope this is clear. Don't say sorry for late. Say, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry for being late. I've just apologized to you. You see? It's very useful to know how to do that. Okay. Oh, I also took the blame on my shoulders. It's no problem for me. I can take the blame for being a shitty teacher. I could also say it's my mistake. I was wrong about that. Yes, I had that wrong. I do apologize. I take full responsibility for misleading you. Okay? Or you could say, I know, my bad. My bad? What does that mean? Any ideas? My bad. My bad? Actually, there's one phrase missing here. I haven't added "it's my fault," which actually is very similar to "my bad." Okay, let's see how this works. Oh, I have forgotten to tell you about my my little, cartoon characters. I hope you've noticed them. I really was trying to, do my best to find the right characters for this show. So sometimes this angry guy is more angry, like here. Sometimes less angry. And the apologetic guy is always like sad. So the angry guy says, "You sent me the wrong attachment." And the apologetic guy goes, "Okay, my bad. I'll email it to you shortly." Okay. Of course, you can say "my fault," but it's completely up to you, right? Whatever you say, with one reservation. Don't say "my bad" to your superior, to a person you don't know very well. Use it with friends. Use it with your colleagues, with your teammates, with the manager you have some good relationship with. Okay, don't say "my bad" to your client if you work at the help desk. Okay, it's colloquial, so, but it's a nice phrase. I hope you agree. So this is how you take the blame. Now, you've taken the blame. Now it's time to accept the complaint. And you can do that in a couple of ways. You can say, "I'm sorry, this will never happen again." Or you could say, "I'm sorry, we promise never to make the same mistake again." Or you can say, "I can't tell you how sorry I am." So you've listened, you've empathized, you've accepted the complaint. However, there's just one more step. Sometimes, not in all situations, but sometimes there is also some room for the other party. I mean, the first party complains. The reaction is apologies. And if the situation isn't very serious, well, someone wanted to draw your attention to something, but they're not really mad at you or with company that you work for. In such situations, you can reply to the apology in one of the following ways. You can say, "Don't worry about it. Come on, don't apologize. Don't mention it. It's okay. That's all right. Never mind. It doesn't matter." Actually, it matters, but you say, "It doesn't matter. That's okay. I quite understand. But please, next time, be more careful." Well, you couldn't help it, could you? Forget about it. No harm done. It's okay. But... And finally, one of my favorite, water down the bridge. Okay, so someone is really, doing their best to give you a sincere apology. They are very apologetic. But the situation wasn't very serious. So you say, "Oh, come on, water down the bridge. Let's move on." That's a very nice phrase. I hope you will remember it. Bridge, water down the bridge. Let's just move on. Yeah. Okay. You can accept a complaint, but you can also reject it. Because, as we said before, sometimes complaints just don't make sense, right? In such situations, you say, "I'm sorry, but there's nothing we can do about it." Or, "I'm sorry, but this is not our fault." Or, "I'm afraid there isn't much we can do about this. These three phrases can also be quite handy. And if this is a standard apology, you've accepted it, you can see that the mistake was done, you can promise some action with one of these sentences. I'll look into it immediately or straight away. I'll check it out immediately or straight away. That's the same. I'll find out what this is about as soon as possible. I'll get back to you shortly. And by shortly, I mean very quickly, very fast. I'll get back to you within an hour or within a day. Two last phrases, they are dotted, they are gapped. You fill them in with whatever makes sense. Let me give you an example. Someone complained, you've listened, you've empathized, and then you say, okay, so what I'll do is I'll get in touch with my colleague from the accounts department and I'll check your invoice. Okay, two actions. Or as soon as I check this with my colleague from the accounts department, I'll call you back. Is that okay, sir? Okay, fair enough. So we can move on to emails of apology. Similarly, as we saw it with emails of complaint, we need a nice opening, and this is what I suggest. I am writing in relation to your recent complaint. I was very concerned to learn about. Here you say what you remember that happened. Please accept my sincere apologies. I would like to apologize for the inconvenience caused. Notice the specific word order here. I would like to apologize for the inconvenience caused. It's a set phrase, it's a fixed phrase. You can just borrow it from here and use it in whatever correspondence you want. Of course, this should be an email of apology. Good to know that one. But it has this specific word order. If you think that you're not responsible for what happened, you can write, we appreciate that this has caused you considerable inconvenience, so empathize, but we cannot accept any responsibility in this matter. But you can also, if this is the case, if the complaint is valid, promise some action. For example, we will send you replacement items, or we will send the missing goods, or we will give you a full refund immediately. Or you could say, I need to look into this. Please leave it with me and I will get back to you tomorrow. Different situation. I have looked in the matter and found out that indeed a mistake was made by one of my colleagues, etc., etc., etc. I have spoken to the staff involved and they say that indeed someone made a mistake. Let's imagine I don't know, a warehouse situation. We're having a temporary problem with the number of orders. Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to sort it out. And my question to you is about the phrase rest assured. What does that mean? Rest assured. How do you understand it? Rest assured, we're doing everything we can to sort it out. Come on, use the chat box. How do you understand it? Let me give you another example. I know this was very difficult for you. You had to wait, but we checked everything. All the invoices are correct, and rest assured, you will get the product by the end of the week. Rest assured. Yeah, like leave your worries. Yeah, exactly. Like leave your worries aside. Yes, be sure. And again, you may consider this an interesting phrase because it doesn't sound like a literal translation from Polish. It's English specific, quite often used in business correspondence. rest assured, you will be satisfied. Okay, so please remember that one. Okay, good. Now, by the end of the email, of course, you can also offer some compensation. To compensate for the inconvenience, we would like to offer you a 10% discount for your next on your next order, for instance. And then you close the email with one of these sentences. Thank you for bringing this matter to my attention. Or, once again, I hope you will accept my apologies for the inconvenience caused. I can assure you that this will not happen again. I've noticed the word order here. I very much hope you will continue to use our services in the future. The word order is important. Here, and in general. And the last one, if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me on my direct line. Okay. Seems like we're almost done, but there's a little test for you. And this is how we will finish our meeting. You can call it a test, revision, or a little challenge. What we have here is a list of 10 phrases. You've got the beginnings, and you need to find the endings. This is all based on the emails of apology, which we have just seen. Now, we will deal with each sentence one by one. Okay, so I don't want you to give me answers like 1E, 2D, right now. Let's deal with this one by one. So, sentence one begins, please accept my... So can you write 1 in the chat box? Can you write 1 and suggest the ending? 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, G. Okay, yes, please accept my sincere apologies. Very good. Excellent. Good stuff. This is how it will work. Okay, number 2. We're having a temporary problem. What are your suggestions? Jay? With our software. Very good. But rest assured, the system will be live within an hour. Okay. Number 3. We're doing everything we can to... what's number 3? 3. We're doing everything we can to resolve the issue, sort it out. Very good. Number 4. Can you leave it? Number 4. Can you leave it? What makes sense here? Can you leave it and get back to you tomorrow? No. Can you leave it for any inconvenience caused? For I? You're saying, yeah, can you leave it with me for a day or 2? Yes. I'll check it and we'll get back to you. ASAP. By the way, this is how you pronounce it. ASAP. You don't say something else. You just say ASAP. 5. I look into the matter urgently. Remember, that's a difficult one. Urgently. Urgently. So what's 5? 5. I look into the matter urgently and get back to you tomorrow. Let's see if it's B. It is. Excellent. Hey, we agree in our choices. I'm very glad. Number 6. I'll send you number 6. Now I'll send you what? I'll send you sincere apologies. No. I'll send you 6A. Okay. Sounds good to me too. I'll send you a replacement immediately. Good. Number 7. Still about sending. We are sending you a small gift. It's not a bribe. No, it's a small gift. It's a small gift. 7H. This will not happen again. We are sending you a small gift. This will not happen again. No, change it. In a way, it makes sense, but we're sending you a small gift. This will not happen again. Okay. 7D. We're sending you a small gift for any inconvenience cost. That doesn't work. Think again. We're sending you a small gift. We have C. We have D and E and H left. You want some help? It's okay. I'm a teacher, I can help you. But I'm also patient. Anybody? Only 4 left. Take the risk. Fine. It's about the gesture of goodwill. Okay? So we are sending you a small gift as a gesture of goodwill. Okay? So, in other words, you want to show that you have good intentions, right? That's the gesture of goodwill. Okay, does it make sense? Fine, let's move on then. I can assure you, come on, we just have 2 left. 3. 8H, I can assure you, yes, this will not happen again. Fine. I apologize again. 9. I apologize again. Oh God, I need better glasses. 9D. Yes, I apologize again for any inconvenience caused. Very good. Thank you. And it's no big mystery that 10 will go with E. Thank you. Thank you, Graziana. If you have any further queries meaning questions, it's good to know that word. So if you have any further queries, do not hesitate to contact me. Okay, well done. I'm proud of you. Thank you very much for being so active. It's getting quite late. I hope I haven't bored you to death. Let me remind you that you will get this PDF with all these phrases listed neatly on a couple of pages. So if you happen to work at the help desk, this will surely be quite handy. What else can I say? I hope you will not hesitate to contact Worldwide School if you want to start your language course. I'm not sure where you work, what your context is, but I just want you to know that we do not only these webinars. We are one of the largest in-company language schools in Poland. We've been offering virtual classrooms for more than 12 years now. So just before the pandemic started. So if you want to learn with us, you'll be in good hands. And if you decide to call us, to write an email to us, I'll be more than happy. So if I got you interested, just visit our website. You'll get all the contact details there. Okay, so that was my sales talk to you. I'm not going to apologize for it, but I will say how grateful I am for this opportunity to meet you all. Thank you again. I hope you will have as few situations in which you have to complain as possible. But let's face it, you will have these situations. They are a part of life. Thank you. Have a good evening, and watch out for the heat wave. Watch out for the storms. See you soon. But after the summertime, our webinar project will resume in September. Looking forward to that. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye. Thank you very much.